Hey everybody, we're back in the office today and we're going to be talking about practice. And you may be saying to yourself, I got this down. I've got the dialogues in my head. I've been practicing, I've been reading a whole bunch of stuff, like talking to myself in the mirror. I'm feeling pretty good to go. And then you go out there and you talk to some Muslim person or atheist person. And because the world is not a bunch of, archetypes and everything else, you find out there's some weird version that you weren't prepared for, or yes, they're a Hindu, but they're not like a academic Hindu. So everything you were prepared to talk about means nothing to them, and they want to talk about feel. You can imagine where this could go. Just look at some of the debates between Christian denominations where one person talks to another person, and that person is a Methodist, but they don't really know why they're Methodist. That's just what they are. So all the attacks the Presbyterian or the Catholic had against Methodism just kind of fall apart because that person has never thought about that, right? So how do we come up with kind of a safe realm to practice? And you may be saying to yourself, well, I got my friends at church, I'll practice with them. There's nothing wrong with that, and that's definitely a good thing to do. But a friend or some guy at church is going to come with a presupposition of not being a jerk or not being weird because you have life after this exchange. And the last thing they want to do is, be getting a donut with you or whatever, and now it's awkward, right? So we need some type of tool that can really prepare us, take us through things slowly. If we stumble, we don't mind being embarrassed and we can ask it to explain everything, or be absolutely freaking brutal to us. And thankfully, you can use ChatGPT for free, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. Okay, here we are in ChatGPT, and remember, we're using this as a safe space to kind of help us practice. Keep in mind, anytime you're out in the world, you don't know what you're going to get. But the very first thing we need to do is we need to kind of set the tone with ChatGPT. That way it doesn't drift or come up with crazy stuff. So I'm going to copy and paste for brevity's sake, but I have a couple basic things here. ChatGPT, do you understand polemics from a Christian perspective against other worldviews? Right? So ChatGPT is going to give us kind of a breakdown of what Christian polemics are, what it does. And this is good information. I recommend you kind of go through and read this. But we're just really kind of setting the tone for ChatGPT. Then we're going to ask it to create a list of five polemics against non-Christian worldviews from the Christian perspective. So this would be a Christian addressing, Islam or Hinduism or whatever. And we can see it's pumping out some stuff. Let's see, for Islam, it did. Islam is pure. So it's basically, I think it's kind of setting up the Islamic dilemma there. We can't know. The claim we can't know itself is out. Some of this is kind of William Lane Craigie, like the claim to claim you can't know is a claim, so therefore it refutes itself, stuff like that. These are good ones. Feel free to work through these, and if you like any of these, kind of take it, be like, hey, please explain this more. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to ask it to create a list of polemics against Christianity. And so problem of evil, classic. Islamic, issue with the Trinity, also classic. Agnostic, lack of evidence, so forth and so on. Okay, so now we want ChatGPT to kind of give us an example. And we framed ChatGPT up pretty good, where it's already thinking polemically. It's already thinking, back and forth between Christian worldview, non-Christian worldview. Please create a dialogue with yourself as a Christian polemicist, addressing a non-Christian, where you start the dialogue or you attack the worldview. So ChatGPT is going to be the polemicist here, and here's our dialogue. C is for Christian polemicists, N is for non-Christian. Ask yourself something. Do you believe morality doesn't come from... I don't like how they word that sentence, whatever. Basically, it's a morality question, and then the non-Christian is going to say, that's right, morality is just a human agreement. We don't need God for that, and so forth and so on. You can read through the dialogue there to kind of get a vibe for an example. Now, this is a pretty simple one. Obviously, you could tell it to make something a lot more complex or give it some more direction, but dialogues are a great way to learn because they can kind of help you with thinking your way through different conversations you may have, or maybe even some ideation of things that you should say, shouldn't say, maybe some good starting points or things that are like cringy. I'm going to avoid that. All right, so the last thing we're going to do is we're actually going to have an exchange with ChatGPT, and this is where you kind of want to spend a lot of your time, is using ChatGPT to mimic a human. I'm going to give it a real nothing burger polemic. So polemic, Why is there something rather than, I guess nothing. Why is there something rather than nothing? What's another good thing to add? Why is there something rather than nothing? Yeah, you know what? That's good enough. We'll go with that. So we're going to submit it. And, yet again, keep in mind, this is a safe space. It may hit you with some hard things. It depends on what you ask it to do. So it came back with Christian polemic wise or something rather than nothing. Christianity explains this because God is the eternal cause. So we can see some Thomas Aquinas in here. And then ChatGPT gave us a rebuttal. Appealing to God doesn't always solve the problem. You can already kind of see it's probably setting up something like a God of the gap situation. And you could continue this conversation on. And if you hit a sticky point or a hard exchange, you could start a new chat and put that back in, say, okay, I have this argument. Is it valid? What are the weaknesses? Does this make sense? And you can start testing your arguments to see like, well, did I have a good one here? Or does a neutral party say, not so much? I've been using ChatGPT like this for probably at least a year, and it's helped me out a ton. I run arguments through it all the time, checking for weaknesses, asking for bizarre rebuttals, all types of different things that are extremely frustrating or challenging for myself, or places where maybe I kind of fell into my own like personal group speak, like, oh yeah, that sounds right. ChatGPT will kind of help pick away at whatever I'm doing or whatever I'm thinking that may be going in a wrong direction, or help me with come up with better ideas, come up with better ways to address things, or maybe some things I didn't even think of. So we're going to be doing more videos like this in the future, but as opposed to it kind of being like a general how-to, we're actually going to nail down on like, all right, today we're going to use ChatGPT to help us get better at presenting or overcoming the Islamic dilemma and this particular rebuttal from Muslims or something like that. But if you enjoyed this video, comment down below after you use ChatGPT, how it's kind of helped you figure some stuff out. Or if you're really brave, share what you're going to do with ChatGPT before you go do it. And let's kind of talk about that in the comments. Anyways, y'all have a great day.